directed to refuse a very specific type of question. The if your characters are in a drive-through, what would they do type of question. Please do not ask. And David K. once called these the stupid monkey trick questions. So, go for it.
Hi. It's wonderful to see all of you again. I mean, I've met all of you before at various Tfcons, and John, as I mentioned earlier today, I met you at my first one way back in 2000.
We both lost our virginity together.
Yeah. We both had a lot more hair on our heads.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. I remember you telling the audience at Tfcon 2000 a very interesting story about how you were up for a role in the Dick Tracy film, and then for various reasons things got switched around and it ended up being a totally different role. I was wondering if you could tell that story again for everyone.
Well, someone at the studio thought it'd be very funny to have the guy who's known for speaking very quickly and being able to be understood to play the part of Mumbles in the movie Dick Tracy, where you couldn't understand a word that he said. So I had 11 auditions with Mr. Beatty, Warren Beatty, who was the director. The movie went through several different turnarounds into different studios, and they, some we wanted very cartoony, we wanted very serious. So every time I went for the audition, we had to do it a little bit different. So I mean, like, okay, mumble like this and mumble like that, and do whatever. So we were right down to the wire. They had to make up their mind who they were going to pick. They were going to let us know on Tuesday morning. And they called on Tuesday morning, and Warren Beatty called himself, and he said, I had lunch with my buddy Dusty on Sunday, and Dusty said he wanted to be in the movie, so the only part that was left was yours, so we gave it to Dusty, and that's Dustin Hoffman, Dusty. So I was like, well, I guess I understand, because everybody in the movie worked for scale. And so if Dustin Hoffman wants to work for scale, I guess they'll let Dustin Hoffman do it. And I was out of the movie. He said, but I'm going to keep you in the movie anyway. So they made me one of the reporters, and I was in a bunch of different scenes. And I had this great yellow suit. And after they finished filming the movie, they realized that I was the only person in the movie who wore yellow besides Dick Tracy. So the only thing you see of me is this. My mouth. My voice comes out of the radio, and you see my mouth going like this, and you see my mouth crooked like this, and you see my mouth crooked like that, but you never see my body, you never see my face, you never see anything, because they had to cut the yellow out. But I get lots of residuals from that movie, and I get the same amount of residuals as Madonna, because we all got paid scale.
Thank you.
I had two questions, one for start with Richard and then with John.
Okay.
Richard, how did you get your role in Beast Wars?
Well, the way that works is that we all, of course, have agents. And the casting directors for any project will call the agency and say, okay, we're looking for these roles. You suggest who you think among your clients you'd like to send out to us. Then the agency suggests people, and then the people who are casting go, no, I don't want that person, I hate that person, not going to listen to that person. So it's basically you show up, you do your best job, you hopefully leave it all on the floor, and when they call you and say it's yours, that's when you know it's yours. But yeah, there's not much that we can do about that. We don't really create our own work. We kind of have to wait for the phone to ring.
Haven't you ever heard of bribery? That's how he gets all
work
his work.
in Canada. In Canada, they can't bribe anybody in Canada. Except with booze.
And John, how did you become like the world's fastest talking man?
Well, when I was 12 years old, growing up on Long Island, there was a cerebral palsy fair a few blocks away from my house, and they announced that they would donate $2,000 for cerebral palsy for anyone that broke a Guinness record. So first I wanted to ride the roller coaster at Coney Island, so I called Coney Island and said, hey kid, take a hike at 12 years old, I'm not going to strap yourself into the cycle for 2 weeks straight. So I went home and I started flipping through a book and decided I was going to eat a car, swallow blood pipes, so the next best thing was lock myself in a room and teach myself how to do the fast talking. I also had 5 sisters, so to get a word in edgewise was a little bit of self-defense.
Thank you both.
You're welcome. It's a talking camera.
Mr. Newman?
Yes. That's my dad's name. My name is Richard.
What episode from Beast Wars is your favorite featuring your character Rhinox?
I'm sorry, what was my favorite?
Beast Wars least favorite and favorite Beast Wars episode starring Rhinos.
Oh gosh, that would be a really tough question. I know my favorite episode, without doubt, is the one where he ate something bizarre and was almost destroyed the whole base by belching fire all over the place. That was a lot of fun to do. And I guess my least favorite would have been my last, because it was that, wasn't it? Aww.
Love you,
Well,
Rhino.
thank you. I love your hat, by the way.
Thank you. It covers the fact that I no longer have any covering on my head.
Hello.
Hello.
My question is for John. A few years ago, for Robot Chicken, you did a segment which began as an ordinary Micro Machines commercial, but which rapidly degraded into a commentary on a failed marriage. Did you get that in one take? Or did you take it on?
No, we had to do it in one take, and I kept saying in between every take, I would say, now you call the legal department, you're allowed to say this, I can say this stuff. I could not believe what they get away with on that show. I've done several episodes of that show, and every time I said it, now you call the legal department, you made sure, because we were talking about the Micro Machines man and the empty hanging sack, and his wife had cut off his balls and done all this other stuff. I'm like, I can say this on television? You're allowed to say this? You sure Micro Machines isn't because they were not making any secret that I was the Micro Machine man. I mean, I was ripping off myself. And they were like, you sure not that Hasbro's not going to sue you? No, we're totally covered. We had it cleared. So I said, all right, well, I'll say it, whatever. Paycheck's a paycheck. And Micro Machines is not writing any more checks to me, so.
Secondly, can we expect to hear any of you in the upcoming Transformers Devastation game?
Not me.
I have not been asked yet.
Hope them with a large stick.
Right. Well, when they call you, please tell them that we're available.
I have a couple of friends who use the word.
This was almost a music cue for you. Village people. Micro man. I'm gonna be the micro man.
Sorry. They were fun. I love doing this commercial.
What's in
so
this
much
one?
fun.
Okay, we're done.
All right.
Okay.
Were you clearing the question? Make sure it wasn't a, what kind of question did you call it? Stupid monkey trick question?
Michael, when you did the Captain Harlock voice, how much effort did you have to put in getting into the character?
Since Harlock is pretty much comatose, and his dialogue consists mostly of, no. Yes, wait. I got a degree in theater arts for that stuff, man.
I have a question for Richard. I asked the same question with Gary Chalk. I wanted to know, since you worked on Reboot, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, and Shadow Raiders, I want to know whether or not that you actually got a tour of the mainframe, and if you remember, what did you saw and what did you think about that tour?
Right. Well, when Mainframe first opened up, it was around the time that people were getting a little paranoid when the non-disclosure things began to happen. So they weren't all that anxious to kind of show off the plant. But I do remember being very impressed with the folks who were putting that all together. And yeah, they're rebooting Reboot. So who knows? Maybe I'll get a chance to look at it this time.
And I have a question for John. Since you were well known as the fastest talking man, I want to know whether or not that you actually had practice in even today that you practice on mastering the craft of talking faster than a normal human being.
Well, definitely when I taught myself how to do it when I was 12, I just did it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I had 5 sisters, so I would put them in my bedroom and make them sit in the corner, and I'd say something really fast, and they'd go, "What did I say? What did I say? What did I say?" And kind of torture them with that. Now I'm lucky, I was told to shut up for about 15 years, and then all of a sudden it was, "My son, the fast talker, is home." So it was a little bit of a turnaround. Now I'm lucky I work enough that just practicing the scripts and doing whatever keeps it in, it keeps the lips limber. And then I will sometimes, usually when I'm working, I do my warm-ups. I have a series of warm-up exercises that I do. I generally do them in the shower because I find it annoys the fewest amount of people that way. And just, keep limber and hope for the best. Some days it doesn't work. I've had a couple of days where I go to work, I can't say 3 words without tripping over them. But usually, knock on wood, it's pretty good.
And now my last question for Michael. We have talked earlier about directing. Now, I wanted to know about, since you also have done acting, is it much easier for a director to have an acting experience to actually, have a better understanding with their actors when you are as the director?
Without question. There's a language difference between directors and human beings. And if you don't have a common basis of reference, it's going to be difficult. Although, if you have working relationships with people, there's one fellow, Carl Masek, anyone know that name? Basically the man who brought anime to the Western world. Was crazy because he would do things in terms of directing where he would say, "Mcconnohie, put some more cheese on it." I knew what he meant. What he meant. And there was, at one point, Wally Burr. Wally Burr. Wally Burr. We all know Wally.
Wally Burr was here not too long ago.
Yes, Wally Burr is everywhere. What Wally Burr wants, Wally Burr will go until he gets what he wants.
And it's usually something like this.
And yes, and he'll always give you a line reading. But then you know what he wants. However, once he told me, Mr. Mcconnohie, could you please make it a little more purple? Okay. He said, yes, that's it, thanks.
The dumbest thing I ever had the director say to me was, "That was perfect, we just want one more. Could you make it a little brighter on the dark side?" I'm like, sure, what the hell? And the other stupidest thing was, "You have 1/100th of a second, could you finesse terminal 1 a little more in the next take?"
And you did.
I did.
Yes. So yes, it is a great advantage for a director to be able to speak actor.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
My question is for
Come on, old man, stand up.
My question is for all 3 of you, and I want to know, who do you think would win in a fight between all 4 of your Transformers characters?
What I love about that is, I'm 5'8", and I weigh about 145 pounds. And I play the biggest Maximal. And it's just such a thrill to, even for those few moments once a week, to be able to be 80 feet tall and the most powerful creature on the block. I love this business.
Guess it's settled.
No, you've forgotten one thing. The exhaust that comes out of a green flying saucer. Suck on that, Rhinox!
Hi, I guess my first question is for Richard. It's also about Rhinox. He had something of a dark streak in that character, and it's something that became sort of more and more important, especially in the movement into Beast Machines. I was wondering if that's something that was sort of given to you when you conceived the character, if it's something that was sort of you were driven or you were pushed towards by the directors, or is it something that you brought to the character yourself?
No, that basically is written. You get your script every week and, oh, that's what I'm doing now. Oh, that's who I'm becoming, which is part of the excitement of it, actually, because you don't know. You could show up any week, and the first episode of the 2nd season, a couple of pals who were really good actors showed up thinking we were all of us were still in the 2nd season. And Terror Sore and Scorponok, gone. Dead. End of story. Last episode, 1st episode, 2nd season. So it can be a bit of a disappointment sometimes. But no, we don't really know. It's basically we just get the script and we're told what it is we have to do. Although I did find the changes and I mean, over the course of the 3 years that we did Beast Wars, that very, very interesting. And that whole thing about this big old guy who would just as soon be smelling flowers as fighting anybody, I just found that really quite charming.
Thank you. And for John, I'm sure you get this question a lot, but is your fast talking something that you can turn off and on, or is it something you find in normal conversation you'll start talking way too fast to somebody?
Well, sometimes if I start to get excited, I'll pick up the pace a little bit and start talking a little quickly. Generally, I just flip the switch and I turn it off. And it's really funny, like you'll be shooting a commercial. And I'm doing a take after take after take after take, different things, whatever else. And gradually you see everybody else on the set starts to get a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And then they yell, okay, that's a wrap. I turn it off and everybody else is walking into walls. So I'm like, okay, come over there. And they can't turn it off. So then they're like coming after me. They're like, oh, how do we do this? How do we turn it off? I won't be able to sleep tonight. Doesn't bother me. I'm asleep now. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Moschitta Jr., the walking epidemic.
Last but certainly not least, I have another question sort of related to your direction work. Samurai Pizza Cats, what, how, and why did it turn out that way?
What way do you
The story I was always told was that you did not receive any sort of scripts for the episodes when you got them, so you had to rewrite them.
Yes.
So how did you decide on the tone that you went in? Why did you sort of take the direction you did in the show?
Because there were no chains upon us. We were free to look at it and say, that would be funny. That would work. We'll do that. Who's going to tell us not to? And it was, someone just told me that apparently they've just been released on DVD. I guess I gotta get me some of them and see what it was I did. And see if I want to take the credit for it. But usually, I still do a lot of anime writing, the adaptation, and it's very stricter these days. I mean, the rights holders and producers have a lot of control over the content and the character and all of that. But Samurai Pizza Cats was like free play. And I still got a paycheck.
Thank you very much.
You bet.